Since a conditional probability is still a probability, we can find the expected values of functions of our random variables and their variances in the same way as before. We just have to include all of the relevant probabilities. So let's have a table of probabilities first. And let's find the expected value of x given that x plus y is less than or equal to 2, and the variance of x given that x plus y is less than or equal to 2. So first we'll need to find our probabilities. Since x plus y is in 1, 2, 3, or 4, then x plus y less than or equal to 2 means that x plus y is 1, or x plus y is 2. Now if the sum is 1, the only way that can occur is if x is 1 and y is 0. And so we get, if the sum is 2, that can occur in two different ways. And so our probability is, and so the probability that the sum is less than or equal to 2 will be. Next, let's consider the compound event, x is 1 and the sum is less than or equal to 2. Well, the only way that this can happen is either x is 1 and y is 0, or x is 1, y is 1. And so that probability is, meanwhile, the compound event x is 2 and the sum is less than or equal to 2, that can only occur if y is 0. And so that gives us the probability. And finally, if x is 3, the sum isn't going to be less than 2, so this event will have probability 0 and can be ignored. And so we know our probabilities, so we can find our conditional probabilities, which will be, and a quick check to verify that we've done everything correctly. If we know that the sum is less than or equal to 2, then we know that x has to either be 1 or 2. And so our conditional probability should add to 1. And we find, finally, our expected value will be the sum of the products of the payoffs with the probabilities. And that will be, and once we have those probabilities down, we can also find the expected value of x squared, which will be, and so our variance will be, and likewise we can do that if we have a formula giving us our probability. So let's find the variance of x given that the sum is greater than or equal to 2. So the sum can be greater than or equal to 2 in a couple of different cases, and we find our probabilities. Now remember that finding a conditional probability, any of the compound probabilities should show up in our probability of the condition. So this probability that x is 1 and the sum is greater than or equal to 2, well, that corresponds to this first case here, and so that probability is. Likewise, for the probability x equals 2 and our sum is greater than or equal to 2, that's these two cases, and so we can read off our probability. And finally, the probability that x is 3 and the sum is greater than or equal to 2, that corresponds to these last two cases. Finally, we can compute our conditional probabilities, which will be, and our expected value will be,